Yo, what is up guys? It's the Goblin and welcome back to another Call of Duty Black Ops 4 video. In tonight's video, we have to talk about this patch that came out earlier today, patch 1.05. Gonna give you guys the patch notes and talk about sort of my first impressions on this, because as I was reading through these patch notes, some of them are honestly insane and they look like they would benefit stuff that's actually already very, very strong in the game, especially with some of this perk rebalancing. I got a smile on my face, try not to laugh, because these balance changes, a lot of them do look good, but some of them look like they are balancing sort of the wrong stuff. We're going to talk about it, talk about the patch notes, and of course, it's going to take me a while to get a feel for this update. 1.04 seems like it just came out a week or two ago, and I had to get a feel for the weapons, and now they've adjusted weapons, game modes, and, specialists, a bunch of stuff. So drop a like on this thing. Let's go for 2,000 likes. I would really appreciate it if you guys could smack a like on this video. Going to cover all of the important balance changes we have to talk about the patch notes, and what I think if they're good or positive or negative on each of them based off, sort of what they are off first impressions. So subscribe to the channel if you guys are new. I really, really do appreciate your guys' support. Drop a like on this video. I'd appreciate that. Subscribe, and yeah, let's get all that out the way, and let's talk about this update, patch 1.05. So essentially, let's get right into the multiplayer. They added Nuketown. I'm pretty sure everyone knows that by now, and that was the big thing surrounding this update was Nuketown. This was the other stuff that came with it, the balance changes, which honestly, I'm very excited for Nuketown. I mean, I've been pub stomping on Nuketown for, what, 7 years now? Maybe 8 years? In 2010 since Black Ops 1 came out, something ridiculous like that. And I want to actually play the Nuketown feature playlist quite a bit, but with these weapon balance changes, this is stuff that is important to know going into gameplay and to focus on. So yes, multiplayer, Nuketown multiplayer is added right now, and what was also added was Blackjack Shop into multiplayer, basically into the black market. I'm gonna have to check that out and see exactly what's going on in there, but that was added with this update as well. I'm not sure, I really don't know much details about that at the time of recording this video, but yeah, Nuketown we got the Blackjack Shop, but let's get into the balance changes. So this is for PS4 and Xbox One. This gameplay update focus is on addressing the issues our community has been most passionate about: Ajax, SMGs, the SG-12 strobe light, cold-blooded, and much more. Some of these changes affect multiple modes, and we've called out where certain changes only apply to multiplayer. So, some of them will go into, blackout or zombies, but we're focused on multiplayer here, and I'll tell you guys what the changes are for multiplayer. Now, this is huge. First of all, just off that description, it proves that Treyarch is listening to the community. I'm someone that's very active in the community. I'm searching on Reddit. I'm looking up on Twitter. I'm, of course, very active on YouTube, and it's true. Ajax, people complain about the riot shield. SMGs, people complain underpowered. The SG-12 strobe light, people complained about, of course, just flashing in their eyes, and then cold-blooded and a lot of the perks were unbalanced as well. So it does look like they're listening to feedback. So the first change they do is to SMGs and the MX-9. Now this is good. I like this. They're buffing all of the SMGs again, which is good because I'm going for diamond right now in the SMGs and I want to record some videos with it, and I'm pretty excited. So MX-9, adjusted 5-hit kill range up to 6 meters, multiplayer only, and a slightly increased ADS move speed. So pretty good buff there. 6 meter change is not, 6 meters is a decent amount of space, I guess you would say, or a decent amount of property. So that's good for the MX-9. GKS, they adjusted the 5-hit kill range up to 3 meters, multiplayer only. They slightly increased ADS move speed. Cordite, they did the same thing, adjusted 5-hit kill range up to 3 meters, slightly increased ADS move speed, and then the Spitfire increased the 6-hit kill range by 3 meters, slightly increased ADS move speed. So some pretty good buffs, it looks like, as far as those SMGs go. It definitely looks like this will be helping to kill people, either just to outplay people with the slightly increased ADS move speed. You can outplay people and be fast with a weapon, which is what you should be doing with these SMGs, and also adding that little bit of extra, where it takes basically one extra bullet to kill people at different ranges now is a big deal. I think this buff looks like it's mostly going to affect probably the MX-9 maybe, or the GKS, guns that are actually good at range, and probably the MX-9 I think will probably, it got served a pretty good buff last time, but this is just doubling down and looks like pretty good. I have no problem with these changes for SMGs based off the patch notes. It looks pretty cool. Next is AR. So of course, we know how the cycle goes, right? They're buffing the subs. ARs are going to take a hit. The Maddox. All right, they hit the Maddox. The first thing they did is they slightly increased the recoil of the first and second shots. Okay, so I'm okay with that. They added recoil to the Maddox to try to balance the weapons. Makes sense. Next thing they did is the Echo Fire Operator mod, which I made a video on the other day. You guys should check that out. They removed the recoil penalty when equipped, which is insane because that was sort of like the only thing bad about the Maddox Echo Fire was the recoil penalty, and it was sucky at range because the recoil penalty would shoot you up straight up to the sky. At close range, that thing had one of the fastest time to kills. I talk about it all in my Maddox Echo Fire mod video, but that basically got a buff, which is... It is a buff to that, but they also add a recoil to the first and second shot. So I don't know exactly how it's going to play, but Maddox, I'm sure, will still be a fairly strong weapon. KN57 reduced the idle sway, which is sort of an irrelevant change unless you're sitting there aiming down sights for a long time. I mean, idle sway really won't come into play in that many guns. Maybe it'll make you miss a bullet in occasional gunfights. And they slightly increased the 4-hit kill range by 1.5 meters, which is a very, very short amount of, increase to that 4-hit kill range. But it is something and will help you basically fighting off people at actual close range with the KN57. And it's the same thing with the SMG buffs, by the way. How I said, like, it'll help them at range. The ranges that we're talking about are very, very short ranges, right? So, like I said, it'll probably help the MX9 and the GKS the best, just because those have the least recoil. This is still great for all of the SMGs, just because even though it is basically adding damage at range, we're still talking about close ranges where it's actually going to be effective with SMGs. And same thing with this. This is a good buff to a gun that I honestly already thought was in the top 5 guns. The KN57 I think is amazing based off of the attachments that are available on it. You got pretty much everything, and this thing is a monster. Next is the Rampart. They reduced idle sway, slightly reduced recoil of first and third shots, and increased the 4-hit kill range by 3 meters. So this is actually a little bit different than I expected. They didn't nerf all the assault rifles. They nerfed the Maddox, and they buffed the KN and the Rampart, and this is pretty good. I like this, when they're not just nerfing stuff to the ground, but they're actually trying to balance and buff stuff. So far the changes, I am pretty happy with them. Once again, I don't know about that Echo Fire Maddox change, but buffing the Rampart, buffing the KN, and then nerfing the Maddox, and of course they already nerfed the ICR and the Vapor on the last one. So I think the assault rifle category might have some of the better balance out of any categories now because of this, and either way, assault rifles are just so damn strong in this game, and I don't think this update changes that. You can still use them, and they're going to dominate. That's what I'm assuming. Of course, I'm going to be playing on this update and making videos on which guns I think are super effective by patch 1.05, and you guys know the cycle. A bunch of stuff is going to be coming out, so I'm super excited about that. But yeah, a good buff to the Rampart, which was a very slightly reducing the recoil of the first and third shots, are huge when you have to be accurate and use high caliber 1 and 2. Crazy stuff. And the Rampart also, there is a grip on it, I believe, so that's good. Tactical rifles. Swordfish, a little bit of a buff to the Swordfish. They slightly reduced the delay between bursts, and they reduced the idle sway, and the penta burst, they now implement the standard burst delay. So a tiny little buff to the tactical rifle Swordfish. I'm not sure how much that delay was actually changed, but I think that was because with the ABR buff, the ABR was maybe taking over a little of the shine that they want the Swordfish to have. And obviously the game has plans and a storyline for this stuff when they make it. I don't know if a storyline is the right word, but you know what I mean. Like when they put the M8 of this game, which is the Swordfish, at level 55, and they put the Maddox at level 49 or whatever, the SOG 9mm at level 52, they're putting some of the top weapons in each of these categories as the late unlocks as incentive for people to grind, or maybe, stay at level, get to level 55 at least. That's what they want people to do, because after that, you're probably hooked on the game and you're having fun, right? So that's sort of the mindset, I think. Next here, we have the Titan LMG, which they messed with and nerfed quite a bit on the 1.04 patch, but it looks like they're back at it with a bunch of different changes, but overall feels like a decent nerf to this weapon. Basically, they reduced the ADS speed, they increased your sprint out time, they made a slightly increased hip fire spread, which, is whatever, because I think the Titan hipfire was a major component to it. And then on stock, they slightly reduced the movement benefits when equipped. So they're really hitting at a lot of the stuff that worked well with this weapon. And, even though the Titan is a weapon that reducing stock on it is like something that was needed, and just going after this weapon, I really think that this weapon was in a safe spot before this patch. I'm not really sure. These changes are kind of confusing, and there is a bunch of them, so I'm gonna have to play with this weapon and see actually how this gun works in game. And because of the other multiplayer changes, who knows how the Titan will match up, that's the word I was looking for, match up against the other guns that it competes against, ARs and tactical rifles. I thought it was good before this patch. Don't really know how this will change it in the meta, but it looks like, it's changes, and it's something that I want to give a try to with the Titan. Next is sniper rifles. With sniper rifles, they did change them a crazy amount again. The Outlaw, Slightly increased fire rate, greatly reduced idle sway, slightly increased ADS speed, updated ADS rechamber animation to make it easier to stay on target, recoil centers more reliably, increased base damage by 10. Only affecting shots to kill an already damaged target, multiplayer only. So the Outlaw Sniper with probably the most buffs out of any gun on this list. Next is the SDM, added aim assist while hip firing. I don't know why that wasn't there. Next was the Koshka, recoil now centers more reliably after the first shot. So they buffed all the snipers, and sniping was already so damn strong in this game because of the fact that it's 150 health, yet you're still one-shotting people, you know, a lot of the time. And I don't know that much about the sniping community. All I know is that the community that I see is, you know, the general consensus is a lot of people hate getting killed by those one-shot snipers. But I think personally, and this is my honest opinion, sniping is a big part of Call of Duty, and it's one of the only games you can really like quick. Whenever you think of quick scoping, you think of Call of Duty. That's a big portion of the multiplayer aspect, and I think it should be in all Call of Duty games. I think it just, you know, it depends on making them balanced. So of course that's what they're trying to do here. Next is the shotguns, and you guessed it, they hit the SG-12. They reduced the visual effect of the strobe light, and they reduced the range at which the strobe light affects aim assist. So the strobe light was actually throwing off your aim assist, and now they've reduced that by 50% at the range which it affects, reduced the visual effect. So that's not very good for the SG-12. These nerfs probably put it, you know, without the strobe light, the SG-12 isn't that great, especially compared to the other shotgun available. But it's still something that'll probably be fun and funny to troll with or use. Next is Grip 2. They hit Grip 2 again, which is basically just hitting the ICR and the GKS because those are the weapons that you use it on. I don't know what other weapons people use it on, but those are the ones that I use it on the most. Reduced flinch mitigation right there, so they hit that again. And next they have with the Specialist. Okay, so the Specialist, they hit quite a few different changes. I'm sorry guys, this video might be a little bit long, but I'm trying to get through everything and do it thoroughly, so it's not just, you know, I'm not just reading you guys out the list. I'm giving details on this, how it will affect gameplay, and my opinions on it. So Specialist, Ajax. You guys are going to want to hear this. They reduced the 9 bangs flash effect duration by 25%. So the duration of it reduced by 25%. 9 bang is now countered more effectively by tac mask. We'll talk about that when we talk about perks later. They increased the bullet spread by 25% in fortify stance when using the ballistic shield, so your accuracy is worse. Ajax turn speed is now properly slowed when he's hit by a concussion grenade with the ballistic shield equipped. Resolved an issue that could prevent Ajax from being hit from certain angles from behind the ballistic shield, and added a third-person sound effect for charges 2 and 3 of the 9 bang. So you can hear someone sort of cooking up a 9 bang now, and this is a good nerf. This is a good nerf to the Ajax, and it makes it where he still does his job, but it's more balanced, because Ajax was one of the ones where whenever I was going like for an objective, I would just throw an Ajax or battery, and I would either just flash and run in there with a ballistic shield and kill everyone, or just throw the cluster grenade and, you know, noob tube in there with battery. I mean, those specialists were very, very good. And of course, there's the affections or the changes for Ajax. Next is Prophet. Prophet receiving a pretty good buff, and a lot of people are saying the Tempest is coming up to be one of the best in the game, and this update might even just add to that. So they improved the Tempest accuracy. The Tempest charges attached to players will no longer be destroyed by explosives, and they resolved an issue where the Seeker shock mine could get stuck in a loop on Morocco. So just improved Tempest accuracy is good. I don't know how I really feel about the Tempest knocking people down like it's Fortnite. I understand why it's there for, what it's there for chaining, for chaining the kill feed and getting nice montage moments. But sometimes you get you don't get to kill. Sometimes people come back up. Next is Firebreak. Purifier will now properly damage the strike team. And then Ruin, they fixed an issue with the grapple gun. So that's what we have as far as specialists. They mainly were just going at an Ajax nerf and a little bit of a Prophet buff. Next, we have the perks. And perks are something that, for me, honestly, okay, Black Ops 4, I really like this game. I like it a lot, and I think there's a lot right with it. The one thing that has really been like pissing me off, or something that I'm like not as fond of, or I think that was really done poorly, was the perks. There's only like 4 or 5 options for, like, there's so little options for perks on each of the classes. There's like 5 options right on each of the slots, and a lot of them are very, very useless in this game. And it seems like a lot of the perks are made for niche scenarios instead of, like, perks were signature and important stuff back in other Call of Duty games. In this game, yeah, perks are still super duper important to a class setup, but now you have attachments with these new attachments, with operator mods, with gear, and I think focusing on all that was awesome. Of course, I want the class setups to be as amazing as possible. I'm a big fan of it, and I think it's one of the things that makes Call of Duty unique and one of the things that makes it amazing. But one thing with that is you have to make sure the perks are good, because that's what it all stems off of. And making sure perks are good is a big deal. So this is what they did. Tac mask. Increased resistance. These are the changes that, these ones kind of make me laugh a little bit, like I was talking about earlier. A lot of the gun balance changes I do agree with, but these perk changes, it seems like they buffed all of the perks that I thought were already good, and except cold-blooded. So tac masks, they increased resistance to 9-bang, concussion, and razor wire, which is great. Increased resistance to razor wire is amazing, and tac mask is already something that just counters so many different things. You can throw those seeker cars off of you. You can, the stun grenades wouldn't last as long, and now it's even more increased resistance for tac mask. Next is flak jacket, which is another thing that I think is, I don't think it's amazing, but it's good to have in this game. There are quite a few explosives, not as many as maybe previous games, MW2, but or MW3 even, but flak jacket, increased resistance to explosive damage, so a buff there. Cold-blooded. This is one that I do agree. Cold-blooded was underpowered. It needed a buff. They increase the delay period before enemy AI will target players during a period of maintained line of sight. This will give players more time to get cover or to fight back against enemy AI. So this basically increased the delay period before they will target players. So it's sort of just making you more cold-blooded, where your name and stuff won't pop up to enemy players. It can be kind of tricky, and I guess it could be good for tricking people a little bit, but I don't know. I don't really know how I feel about cold-blooded. A decent buff to it. Next is Dead Silence, and this is what made me like, this is a crazy. Dead Silence is already so damn strong. I use it on 99% of class setups, 95, like almost every time. Dead Silence will now suppress player sounds related to healing, taking fall damage, or surfacing while swimming. Affects multiplayer and blackout. This is insane. Dead Silence, the #1 perk in the game. What were they? I don't know what this is. I can heal, I can take fall damage, I can come out of the water, and it makes no sound. This is going to piss people off in Blackout #1, because some guy's going to be swimming and come out of nowhere, Dead Silence, sneak up and stab a guy in the back or something. And in multiplayer, this is good for maps like Contraband, where you're going to be playing in the water a little bit. But either way, the sound it makes while healing, like, this is a big change. And it's not that big, but the reason it's big is because it's already adding to a perk that was already good. When something like Ghost, which only works basically if you're in a full sprint to prevent them from using UAVs, isn't touched, and Dead Silence is basically buffed again. So, or not again, but buffed when it was already strong. So, I mean, I don't know if that's a good balancing change, but I use Dead Silence, so I'll take the buff, right? And the next is Score Streaks. Strike Team, you can only call in one strike team active at a time now, which is definitely very, very interesting. With playlist updates, they changed spawns on like TDM, Dom, Free For All, Hardpoint, on a lot of different maps. The main maps that they touched were Arsenal, Summit, Payload, Control, Seaside, Gridlock. Those maps have spawn changes, so pay attention and sort of try to relearn. I mean, it's just small changes, but relearn that. And then what we have here is basically there was some other stuff that was changed, small challenges, different sort of bug fixes. But what I want to talk about is the actual the playlist update, which was Endurance Chaos Mosh Pit. 6v6 with doubled score limits. That means TDM with 150 score limit, Dom with 200 score per round, Hardpoint with 500 score. I mean, it's ridiculous. I mean, the 10-minute time limit is still on Hardpoint, but that is when they're off of these games are going to last 20, 30 minutes. People are going to drop 100 pluses like it's nothing, and I'm super excited to get into some Chaos Mosh Pit. Endurance Chaos Mosh Pit. This is it. Oh, man. The more I read this, makes me want to hop on the game. Overall, I think this probably was a good update. The perk, I don't know, man. I wish, like, I could help Treyarch maybe balance the perks or something. Treyarch, hire me. Let me work on the perks. Like, I feel like I have some good ideas on how they could make the perks a little bit better. But that's, as far as the gun changes, I mean, I think they're doing okay with that. And it's going to be interesting to see how this affects the game. But yeah, with perks, the perk changes I really think were the biggest mistakes here. And I think that you're like stuff like a tracker, Squad Link, which is good for hardcore, but not too good in core. There's other stuff that just isn't as good, especially dexterity. Dexterity doesn't even work how it's supposed to work. Lightweight gives you such minimal advantage. I think Skulker should work when you're standing up. I mean, there's a lot of stuff that can still be touched with the perks. So definitely very, very interesting. But I'm sure Treyarch and the team over there will definitely, hopefully they're showing promise in updating the game, so I'm happy with that. And the thing is with Treyarch is I believe in them because I based it off the track record. They've updated Black Ops 3 more than any other Call of Duty game, so I think we're probably in good hands. Anyway, guys, drop a like on this thing, subscribe to the channel if you guys are new. Hopefully, maybe they take some of my suggestions. I mean, I'll throw out some suggestions like I did right there at the end of stuff that I think should be fixed in the in the next update. But either way, you know, it's still a really good game, and these are just minor meta things. There's nothing game-breaking like One Man Army Noob Tube. So thanks for watching, guys. Drop a like, subscribe if you guys are new. This was such a long video. Oh my goodness. I felt like when you talk about something you're passionate about, it's kind of easy, and I was so interested to, you know, talk about these patch notes. So yeah, a lot more videos coming out very, very soon. Working on Diamond SMGs. Gonna test out these new guns. Gonna play some Nuketown. Gonna play some Endurance Chaos Mosh. But this is crazy, guys. I'm out. Thanks for watching, guys. Drop a like, subscribe if you guys are new. And yeah, that's about it. I hope you guys all have an absolutely fantastic evening. And let me know what you guys think of this update. If you guys watch till the end, I think this video definitely deserves you to click that subscribe button or smack a like. And I don't know what gameplays I'll throw up on the screen, but it'll probably just be some random gameplays from Black Ops 4. Anyway, peace out. Have a great night, and I'm out. I'll see you in the next one.